Relief for those in the path of cyclone storm Hudhud. The storm crossed Vizag about half an hour ago and is losing intensity as it moves further inland. Heavy to very heavy rainfall reported along the coastline after the eye of the storm passed Vizag. A reverse wind sweep is being felt, which is likely to have a disastrous impact. The maximum impact of the storm has been at Visakhapatnam. Winds not very strong in Odisha, but rainfall will increase in the southern districts of Odisha in the next 24 to 48 hours. NDRF has rushed additional teams to Visakhapatnam. Total 13 teams are on the ground in the district now. By tomorrow morning, aircraft for rescue and relief can start normal operations as the weather is expected to get better. For the next 6 hours, the Indian Meteorological Department expects the wind speed to reduce by half, rainfalls to continue and move northwards for the next 2 to 3 days. Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, West Bengal and even parts of western Uttar Pradesh are expected to witness rainfall for a while after the cyclone.
I'm standing here in one of the major marketplaces inside the city of Visakhapatnam, and Cyclone Hudhud is literally wreaking havoc inside the city of Visakhapatnam. The city is falling apart like house of cards. As you can see, telephone poles, electric poles just falling. Trees have been uprooted. All the roads are blocked. Corrugated tin roof is flying around like they're paper. And as you can see, a lot of glass also breaking out of buildings. People have been stranded in a lot of places. However, the collector of Visakhapatnam has advised people not to move out of their houses because the roads are blocked and the clearance will happen only after 6 p.m. So people, residents of Visakhapatnam and nearby areas are advised really not to move out of the house, because as you can see, a lot of destruction happening inside the city. Telephone poles are just falling. Trees are falling. Also, vehicles also which are actually stationary on the road are just moving with the kind of force that the wind really, the kind of speed that the wind is blowing with. With camera person Manohar Reddy, Ratnika Sharma in Visakhapatnam for Headlines Today.
All preparations have been made in the districts to counter the effects of the cyclone and the heavy rainfall that will follow the cyclone. Also, as per the latest information received, 67,752 people have been evacuated in Gajpati, Ganjam, Koraput, Raigada, Malkangiri, Puri, Kendrapada and Khurda districts to 604 safe shelters. More evacuation is likely this morning. We are monitoring the situation and taking all precautions that are possible.
Let me now go across to my colleague Jugal Purohit, who is joining us live from Visakhapatnam. Jugal, what is the situation as of now and what stage is the cyclone on?
Well, this cyclone is in its final stages, and we are right at the point where the landfall took place, and from there on the eye came, and then this is, as I said, the final leg. For the last 2 to 3 hours that we've been here, these winds, and now I can say that the intensity has reduced quite a bit. Yes, this, what you're seeing on your screens is right now a much calmer version of the cyclone that we've been facing and have been battered by for almost 2 to 3 hours. Right now at the shoreline, not a single being, forget an individual, not a single being visible. That says something about the intensity, even as this cyclone Hudhud finally bids farewell and proceeds towards the hinterland at a much slower pace, at a much less dangerous an avatar. That's what we've been seeing out here. All the communication links have been snapped. There is no electricity for the last 15 to 16 hours in many cases in Visakhapatnam. The roads in many areas are completely choked on account of several trees getting uprooted and falling onto the streets. Electricity poles are there, and every single thing which could have been uprooted has been uprooted. It's been an extremely devastating a situation for the city of Visakhapatnam.
Tough to report from there, Jugal, but what kind of a relief operation and rescue operations are you seeing around you?
Well, as of now, there is no real relief and rescue work that has begun, because what essentially takes place is that when the cyclone actually hits, you allow it to actually hit and then proceed. As soon as you start getting information, which is when communication links will come in handy, as soon as you start getting the information flow, as soon as you start having a sense that now it's safe even for the rescuers to go out, is when the proceedings will begin. We were in fact aware that a few lives, at least 2 lives, have been lost in and around the city of Visakhapatnam on account of this atmosphere that we are seeing. But now is when the real rescue and relief work will start. Naval ships, mind you, in this weather and in this sea condition are out there right now. So are several Coast Guard ships. They have to be perforce outside looking at people in case there is any distress call that they get. So those ships are scouting these extremely angry and erupting seas as we speak. Apart from that, helicopters have been kept on standby. This is not the weather for them to fly. The airport right now is underwater. It will be operational only tomorrow. So several aircraft will come in tomorrow. Army's team and NDRF teams are already here and in talks with the district administration will be deployed in different areas. So yes, the real rescue and relief work will begin now. And finally, what will also have to be monitored is that as the cyclone enters the hinterland, remember, it's not the end of the affair. In fact, for many areas in the hinterland, it's only the beginning of a lot of problems. Heavy downpour, flooding, relief and rescue effort, farm crops getting completely submerged, a plethora of problems which will now arise, and in a situation where there is just no way to communicate, it's going to be even that much more difficult.
Jugal, also very quickly, what sort of a response have you got from people? Of course, difficult conditions there, but what sort of a precautions are they taking?
I can tell you that for the last 4 to 5 hours, ever since the reverse cycle began at the culmination of the eye, it's been an extremely harrowing time. Not so much for us since we were prepared, but for many citizens, many senior citizens with whom we've spent this afternoon. They tell us that they've spent their entire lives here in Visakhapatnam, but never ever seen the nature's fury in the manner and on the scale that they've seen today. People who we spent this afternoon, we saw them crying, we saw them praying, we saw them cringing with hope. They kept on asking us every 15 to 20 minutes, how long would it take before this ends? How long would it take? And we had no answers. Of course, it was an emotionally a very draining exercise to keep reporting on one side and keep also people informed and keep them calm. But one must understand that apart from the physical damage that will take place, apart from the kind of infrastructure that this place will lose on account of the cyclone, it's the trauma that this cyclone leaves behind for many. It scarred them for their life. These 3 to 4 hours that we've spent inside this building, many a times, let me tell you, the building itself moved. There were many occasions when we felt that we were perhaps in the wrong place altogether and that perhaps the storm would get the better of us. But now things have calmed down a little. Things, even though right now seem to be extremely volatile. But this, as I was saying earlier, is an extremely calmed down version of what we've gone through and what we've suffered. Most importantly, the people who've undergone all this, people who suffered, it's impossible that they will ever forget this experience in 3 to 4 hours. And the name of a bird, Hudhud.
Thank you so much, Jugal, for bringing us that update, of course, and do take care of yourself for difficult conditions there to report from. Let me also now take you through this report that Manogya Loiwal, my colleague, has sent from the Gopalpur beach on the impact of Cyclone Hudhud.
After Cyclone Hudhud made a landfall in Visakhapatnam, there has been tremendous change of situation as far as Gopalpur and other coastal belt of Odisha is concerned. The sea has been stormy and has been windy. There have been a challenge for the police here to keep and ensure that the seashore is absolutely clean and not with many people around who have been a little more adventurous as far as approaching this area is concerned. The waves have been very high, and with that the number of people around here have been approaching because many have been out of their houses. But this is the area that has been absolutely clean and clear. There has been a barricade on the number of cars also on the road. Police has also ensured that the number of cars on the road is restricted. There have been also units deployed at various intervals from Odisha to the stretch to Andhra Pradesh to ensure that not much vehicle movement is there. Because of felling of trees, there might be a chance of them being damaged or maybe a mishap also. But for now, it is expected that the cyclonic rainfall is expected to continue for next many more hours, and perhaps the damage to the crops is also inevitable. With camera person Chitrabhanu Pathak, this is Manogya Loiwal in Gopalpur, Odisha for Headlines Today.